So I thought I'd do something a bit different this week. I've been listening to a couple of solo podcasts recently, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a shot. Some of these shows that they do go for like 2+ hours, which this definitely won't be. But we're just going to chat more casually about a bunch of news stories instead of always hitting like just the top 3. Doing well, got my second jab today, so taking it easy tonight. Nice. Did you get Forza Horizon 5? I know it's like early access right now. That's gonna be one of the topics actually tonight. Yeah. So what I've got, I've just got a Word doc here, a Google Doc of 10 stories that just jumped out to me this past week, and I thought the car driving to Cameron, nice. So I thought I would just go through them. We're just going to read it together, no script or structure like I'd usually do, and then just chat about it. And if you guys want to join, you can. Let's see if this works. Hey, there we go. You guys are already in the Discord, so Luke, you've been playing it for a week now. Well, flex much. Yeah, so if you want, I mean, I've only got 2 monitors and I don't have eyes. I'm gonna have to jump and just check the waiting room to see if anyone wants to jump in on particular topics. But we'll go from there. Before we get started, let me just tweet that I'm live, so people can join if they like. Go. Cool. Awesome. All right. So what we're going to do is hey, let me rattle off the stories that I've got. One that I didn't have until just like an hour or two ago is NVIDIA leak part 2. There's been another NVIDIA GeForce leak, and I haven't read the story yet, but I heard a couple of titles rattled off. I'm like, holy crap, okay, I need to cover that. So we'll talk about that. We'll probably do that a bit later. We'll definitely touch on Forza. I want to talk about how well it's doing. Also some of the topics surrounding that, like particularly this premium bundle thing that's going on that Xbox seem to be experimenting with. So we'll talk about Forza. What else have I got here? Also want to talk about Xbox Game Studios in review for this year, because obviously a lot of their titles bunched up to the tail end, but they seem to all be doing really well, which is great. So stuff like Psychonauts and Age as well. And then Windows Central has a great article on, and I'll share these links in the chat as we go. Windows Central has a great article on all the confirmed and rumored titles coming from Xbox. And I know I'd seen like a bunch of rumors being reported on like the past 2 weeks, and I haven't really been covering them either here or on the YouTube channel. So I just want to go through and like talk about these really interesting titles that are rumored, particularly from Xbox Game Studios Publishing, so third-party partners that they're working with. And then the others we'll talk about. Square Enix claims Crystal Dynamics was the wrong fit for disappointing Marvel's Avengers. Battlefield 2042 10-hour trial starts on 12th of November on Game Pass and EA Play. We'll go through the Nintendo financials, which are always interesting. Amy Hennig's new Marvel game. Sega and the Xbox partnership. This one's probably just for me. League of Legends esports remains unprofitable. It's a report on gamesindustry.biz. And PlayStation has invested a 5% stake in Devolver Digital. They went public very recently, so we'll cover that also. Cool. So bear with me. I literally just created this new overlay like 15 minutes ago. So bear with me. Let's make sure. So we'll go over Forza Horizon 5 reviews. Gamesindustry.biz had a critical consensus, kind of like a review wrap up. Oh, there we go. That's looking good. Cool. So obviously the game's out November 9 next week on the Tuesday, but reviews dropped last night, and it's doing really well. It's sitting, last I checked, 90. They say 92. I think it's a 91 on Metacritic for the moment. So very high. Forza Horizon 4 was at 92 on Metacritic on Xbox One, while the PC version was at 88. And last I checked, I think they're both at 91, Series X and PC. So doing really, really well. So we'll just go through a couple of choice quotes here. Let's see, Games Radar, Heather Wald, pardon me. When you're asked if you've ever seen an active volcano up close in Forza Horizon 5, you just know you're in for a driving experience unlike any other. This one from... Oh, it's the same from Wald. The entire drive is an exhilarating spectacle from start to finish. It's just one example of the many thrilling high-speed adventures you'll be going on in Playground Games. Most exciting and beautifully crafted for Forza Horizon entry yet. So, yeah, just a lot of sentiment that I've seen, and I read a couple of the ANZ reviews. I tweeted out links. May said, esports losing money, question mark? I never would have guessed. Yeah, true. And Luke, I can't tell you this, but can't give any details, but Maxi has the Elden Ring. Oh, closed network test already. Yeah, nice. I saw people tweeting out about that. Well, actually, we'll talk about that a bit as well. So, honestly, I mean, what's there to say about Forza Horizon 5? I don't think it's a surprise to anyone that this game is doing really well critically. Playground Games seems to be only getting better. At least in my mind, the question was, what are they going to do to up the ante here? And it seems a lot of the, criticisms, I guess, leveled at Forza Horizon 4, and it's somewhat mixed reception, I would say, to the seasons, and the fact that a lot of people just really didn't like driving in the snow and the rain in winter, and you were forced to play that for a week before the seasons would change. That they've addressed that with different biomes for Forza Horizon 5. Let me see if I can put up some gameplay while we do that. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this great video from Luke Riley over at IGN Australia. It is titled on YouTube on the IGN Games YouTube channel, How Forza Keeps Proving the Power of Xbox. It's an amazing, how long is it? 23 minute retrospective on the Forza franchise as a whole, ever since Turn 10 was established in 2001 to create a racing competitor to Gran Turismo on PlayStation, and the journey the franchise goes on. A lot of it I already knew, but a lot of it I didn't as well. Like particularly the fact that Dan Greenawalt, the creative director or studio head at Turn 10, basically pitched to the guys at Playground when they formed, from the remnants of a lot of other very talented UK-based racing studios, and said, hey, if you can pitch a more accessible, less simulation version of Forza, go for it, and we'll see where we go. So highly encourage you to go check that out. It's pretty amazing. Oh, look, you're saying seasons is still a thing. Oh, okay. I thought they were focusing more on the biomes around. Maybe they are, but they just don't have a adverse or as dramatic of effect on the game. Oh, they do. Oh, okay. There you go. I've been reading that well, at least when they spoke about it just after E3 and they were showing gameplay, they mentioned that like if you wanted to change weather system, you'd go to different areas in the map. That's funny because I booted up today. I bought the premium bundle just to make my brother's weekend. Honestly, he loves Forza Horizon, and he was very excited to play it on Tuesday. But I decided to surprise him, so I bought it and went over to his place this afternoon and booted up with him. It was a blast. Matt, not my kind of game, but I'm really happy it's been a smash hit. Yeah, I think that obviously that's a great obviously sentiment to have, right? I feel the same way about genres I don't enjoy, but when you see people are really enjoying it, it's just a really, really good feeling. Luke, you're saying the seasons impact each biome in different ways. Oh, okay. When it's winter, the snow won't impact the coast. Okay, I understand. Okay, so not a dramatic effect on the entire world. I suppose you can escape the snow if you choose to. Okay, that's interesting. I didn't think seasons were back in any way, just because I hadn't really been communicating on that. So that's interesting. Yeah, so hey Cameron, how are you, man? Thanks for joining. So yeah, where was I? Yeah, I don't think anyone's surprised that Forza Horizon 5 is doing so well, right? In my mind, it was like, how do they up the ante? I had a sneaking suspicion that it was going to be the events lab that really, takes it to the next level in creating a Forza Forge mode, if you will, that would give the game even healthier long legs, I suppose, with more variety from community created content. But it seems they've really nailed a lot of, at least what I want as well, like as a casual racing fan, as someone who will boot up Forza Horizon and just dabble. I like the culture. I want it like Mexican music, the artwork, like all that stuff really excites me from just like a, oh, pretty, like let me just drive around this world. So that part's exciting to me. Yeah, but Cameron, you're the big racing fan. So at least so Matt tells me. You're saying seasons are a lot better. That's good to know, Matt. They do try and turn it into an always online platform rather than putting out a new game every few years. Yeah, especially given the investment they've been putting into the engine and location. Yeah, I think that's oh, sorry guys, I gotta get used to changing these. There we go, it's a bit better. I think that's the goal, right? Like you see it with a lot of Xbox's other titles. Like Halo is going to become a platform. I think the Forza Motorsport, without a number at the end of it, signals that this is going to be the Forza Motorsport platform for at least this generation of racing. And he's hoping that Xbox in turn 10 just continue to add on to that. It's what a lot of people have been asking for EA Sports, right? Saying, why do we have yearly annual releases when we can have FIFA and just have that name carry on and the rosters get updated each year and slight improvements, maybe the engine's improved. Yeah. Cameron, you're saying it's a complete experience in 4 being fleshed out and perfected into a base game. Super curious about the fun DLC. What's going to be our next Hot Wheels Lego? Yeah, true, right? So they've already confirmed at least 2 expansion packs as part of that premium bundle or the premium edition of the game as well. I'll be keen to see what they do. I think Forza Horizon 3 Hot Wheels was very well received, so I wonder if they revisit that. But having said that, Hot Wheels just did their own game, so maybe they would prefer that people buy that instead. Luke, you said this about the map. Mexico is the best of all of them combined. It is the sheer size of the Colorado map, contains the history and charm of Southern Europe, the vast array of landscapes from Australia, and the seasons from England, all combined to make for one incredible location to drive around. Yeah, and that's honestly, I think for me the most exciting part, right? Like as someone who likely may not ever get to Mexico, to have an environment with such variety is also very exciting, and just expose me to a culture that's not as well known even as some of the others that they've done. And it also, like, speaking about that variety, it also makes me wonder if the Horizon community screaming for the series to go to Japan, does Japan offer the same variety? I've only been to Japan once, and it's beautiful. I think it could make for interesting street racing in cities if Playground Games, pardon me, were going to do that. But yeah, do you get? Again, I'm not too familiar with Japan as a country, so I'm sure there are great regions you can explore. But would it offer that same variety as well? So yeah, we'll just have to kind of wait and see. Oh, Luke, you said you want Micro Machines. Cameron, it'll be a location-based and toy fun spin-off. Yeah. Also, to cap it off, the variety has been improved since 4. There's a lot more choice in how you want to branch your story. Yeah, okay, interesting. Yeah, I only so I booted up today on the Series X, and it was stunning on the OLED. I did obviously the first like landing race into the festival, and then did the first showcase event, which was obviously racing the cargo Horizon cargo plane, that then turns into you racing 2 motorbikes, that then turns into the riders like in wingsuits. Was just amazing. I was like, that just keeps upping the ante. I thought that was pretty incredible. Yeah, so I'm keen to see what this is like. But even my brother, who's just he's not a gamer, right? Like he plays FIFA, Forza, GTA. What else has he been getting into? He's been getting into Descenders because he used to be really into mountain bikes growing up, so he's been loving that. I probably will buy him Riders Republic because I think he'd really enjoy that one. But he was pumped to boot it up, and yeah, we're barreling down the side of the volcano, and he would have like said wow like 3 times just on the draw distance, the detail, the lighting. He was laughing like a little kid doing burnouts and seeing the new smoking models that Playground was using, like the smoke in the game. For me, like, racing games usually can't do smoke right. There's just something about smoke that they can't do really well, and the smoke in this, I don't know, it's just because they have a volcano now, so they felt compelled to make the smoke better, or if they just figured it out. but the smoke is absolutely stunning. So yeah, he was like literally giggling like a little kid, just doing burnouts and just being blown away by how good it was. And he said to me, he goes, Shane, I'm already thinking tomorrow that I need to get up, because he's got his own pardon me, oh my god, property maintenance business, and he goes every Saturday. He goes to a local business park and does like a couple of the gardens there. And he said, he goes, Shane, already in my head, I'm thinking about how quickly I can get that job done so he can come home and start playing more of Forza Horizon. So he's really excited. And also, like, he's absolutely obsessed with cactus. Like, our backyard, his backyard are just full of cactus and euphorbias. So Mexico, when that was announced at E3, he's like so stoked to just be like barreling through fields and mountains of cactus. So it's like the game was made for him. 5 minutes into it, he turns to me and goes, Shane, this is the greatest racing game ever. I was like, I think it's just the cactus speaking to you. But anyway, we'll see how it go. Luke, you said, I don't think Japan is open enough for freedom to bash across the landscape. See, that's my thinking, right? Like, does it provide the landscape that Forza Horizon fans are accustomed to? It's stunning, but you can't, I mean, maybe you could. They could maybe, like, you know, rework it so driving across, you know, I don't know, through rice fields, for instance, right, which are wet. Like, is that gonna make sense? The fun in driving through neon-soaked Tokyo isn't like, it's all really tight. So does that make for a fun Horizon experience? I'm not sure. Maybe Playground has to take some creative liberties with that. So we're gonna have to wait and see. Cameron, you're saying, even if you aren't a racing fan, how well Playground has done here, you've got to be excited for Fable. Yeah, and that's one of the topics I want to get to. Cameron, since you're the Forza fan, if you want to jump in, happy to have you, man. Just jump in the waiting room. I'd be keen to get your thoughts if you have managed to boot it up yet. If anyone else wants to jump in on any of the topics that we're discussing, there's a link to Discord in chat. Just jump into the waiting room and I'll drag you over. I see Cameron's here already. Cam, how are you, man? Are you there? I see you lighting up, but I don't hear you. Oh, hang on a second. This might be because I'm using these new wireless. Yes, it totally is. Yeah, one sec. How about now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go.
Sweet.
How are you, man?
Yeah, no, good. Very
nice.
good.
Have you been playing? Did you get the premium bundle, or did you buy it?
Legit premium bundle. Swapped to New Zealand last night so I could get early access. Just to get 2 hours ahead, and I played till like 3 a.m. last night streaming it, and then today's been like since 9 a.m. to now with like a 2 hour break.
Oh, far out. So have you got all the achievements yet, I assume?
I'm getting close to halfway. 22 out of 53.
Holy cow.
But
almost
I've
halfway. Jeez.
Just to give you an idea, there's 580 roads roughly, and I'm like getting to 430.
Jesus. So what top line impressions? Tell me.
It just takes everything great about 4 and like basically capitalizes on it. So 4 was the beginning to me as a, like, you know, playing as a live service kind of game.
Mm-hmm.
And then essentially what they've done is they added Super 7 in, they added Eliminator, all that Forza Horizon 4. Having all that content at launch now has just, like, you've got so many options. And then everything else to me has been tweaked in such a way that, for example, number 4 had, like, not a mainline story, but if you go into a location, you've kind of got an idea of what you're doing. It was like either a street race or a drag race or dirt or whatever it was. This is essentially, you do a showcase event. There's 4 different options. You might go and be a stunt driver for this up and coming movie. You might go and explore temples. You might like, there's a lot more. All right, crafting like 16 different like showcase. I think it's 16, maybe 20. Different like showcase events or things that are unique to do, and then choosing what you want to do in any particular order.
Yep.
But it has been absolutely amazing, and I'm the whole time I'm just sitting here scratching my head, going, "What are they going to do for the DLC?"
Yeah, that's the question, right? It's just like, where can they take the the franchise.
Okay.
It's I'm just impressed by, firstly, like as a cross-gen title as well, how great it looks. Blown away. Like so I've got the Series X here at home, and my brother at his place, he's only got a 1080p TV, so I gave him my Series S, and he doesn't complain. Like, he doesn't know the difference between the consoles. He just likes that he can play the new Forza, and he doesn't have to buy it because of Game Pass. I'm blown away by that. And I think you mentioned as well, right, just like Fable also. I can't recall, maybe you remember as well. Do you remember if they mentioned what engine Fable is going to run at? I feel as though they mentioned the Forza engine, but I could have sworn I saw also Unreal Engine 5 mentioned.
I know the Coalition is using Unreal Engine 5. I'm not sure about Playground Games.
Yeah, I'd have to double check that.
Yeah, same. The only critique I've got so far is like the music's personally not what I would have chosen.
Okay,
but that's gonna be personal preference.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like there's a lot more. I shouldn't say a lot more. There's a few more misses this time around, but there's still a few songs that I've really gotten into. Saying that,
Matt in chat says Fable 4 using the Forza engine. So
okay, it is sweet.
Yeah.
There's only two things like moving forward that I really want to see the franchise do, and that is to have like another spin-off kind of game. How we had Forza Horizon 2 presents the Fast and the Furious.
Yes.
Like give like a 3 or 4 hour tight story, like in this kind of world.
So like, you would tell a licensed story. Let's say it was Fast and Furious again in Mexico. Let's just like get some character arcs like in there. And
capitalize on everything that the game's already established, and just do a narrative.
Okay.
Because like there's a few minor changes in this one. Your character actually speaks now. You can choose a voice.
Yeah, interesting.
Which actually doesn't make it feel awkward with you standing there listening to other people have dialogue.
It was a bit. It kind of reminded me of the rookie in Halo 3 ODST, just always being spoken at and never actually saying anything back.
Yep. Also, don't just randomly pick a voice like I did, because my male character has a female voice.
Can't change that.
I probably can, but I've just left it now because of how funny it is.
Right.
Just to get a cutscene. Like, you know, I'll do like a 15-minute race and that. I'll get to the cutscene and it's just like, yeah, this is just gold.
Yeah. Luke in chat says, I like that the music has a streaming mode, so replacing all the licensed music with generic music. Plus, if you have Spotify open on Xbox, it just replaces the in-game radio. That's cool. That's really smart.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I noticed some really cool, like, cross Xbox IP fun shenanigans as well. Like, there's a Doom theme and Banjo-Kazooie theme horn sounds.
Yes.
Also, I love that stuff.
So far, I've only managed to get the Windows 10 notification horn. And a royalty horn, which I've just been blasting to no ends. But I really want to get the banjo one.
Yeah. And Luke in chat says, ooh, James Bond licensed to drive. They had the Bond content in Forza Horizon 4 as well. Yeah, maybe you get some Aston Martin style.
I don't see how difficult it would be to do it, really, these days.
Also,
sorry.
No, that's all right. I wanted to get your thoughts on, because you bought the premium bundle.
Yep.
I saw some criticism online, and I think this is, rightfully so, that and Luke in Discord, I love the Wallalo is a horn as well from Age of Empires. Yep. That's cool. I think criticism, rightfully so, that this is a game advertised as day one on Game Pass, yet here we are 4 days before launch, and if you have Game Pass, you don't have access to it. Now, I totally see how Xbox think they've navigated around this, and that is that the launch day for Forza is November 9, and this special edition just so happens to be early access, right? This is you just getting it early. Like, the launch day is still November 9. Like, we are launching the game November 9, but hey, if you buy this special thing, you get early access to it. So the fact that Game Pass gets it day one on Tuesday is totally fine. I just think that it's like it's kind of misleading. I know. I wanted your thoughts on that. I honestly could have waited to Tuesday. I really only bought it because I know that I'm probably going to want to play the expansions, whatever they might be, and also I wanted to just make my brother's weekend because I knew that he was just frothing at the bit to play this game. So I think it was 10% off. It was like 62 Australian dollars for like a VIP pass, early access into expansion,
something around there. I was going to bring it up.
Just a bit of clarity. Yeah, just a bit of to jump in ahead of you there, Cameron. But Luke in chat says actually they keep saying standard edition is in Game Pass. So in that sense, they're not lying. But sorry, I cut you off. I wanted to get your thoughts.
It's funny because like this is one of those things that's been happening in the industry for I don't know how many years now. Probably the last 3-4 years at least. It's
been a while. I remember there were
early access.
Yeah, there were ultimate editions of I think Forza Horizon 3 and Halo Wars 2 going back to 2016, 2017, and it was 4 days early access. Games would traditionally launch on the Tuesday, and if you got the ultimate edition, which was $40 more expensive Australian usually, or 50 or 60, you'd get the year pass or the season pass of content and early access. So yeah, like Xbox has been doing this for a while, but I think this is the first time they kind of did this with via Game Pass as well.
Yeah, it's purely because it's via Game Pass. Like I think the communication's been pretty clear in like all previous titles that have advertised that you can play early. 4 days, 5 days, whatever it is, like having that ultimate bundle. It's purely just the fact that there is a Game Pass, and it makes me wonder, like we're like heavily into this kind of stuff, so
yeah,
what we pick up is going to be very different to the normal consumer. But I just feel like if you like, I'm giving them a little bit of a pass only because it's the first title that's done so. And it is purely because they have advertised that it is coming out on the 9th. It's just that hard to convey that message so many times if people aren't really paying attention.
Yeah, Matt, chances I don't see the average consumer is going to be aware of it. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Like, I think it's purely going to fall into I wouldn't say diehard fans, but the fans that are into the whatever property it is that is advertising. I'm not going to say it's always going to be like Forza Horizon, but I'd be interested to see how this, like, what other titles do this, because everything is like, really moving.
Yeah, like if we get, so Halo Infinite launch date is December 8. If you can pay $60 Australian, let's say, to play the campaign on December 4th, and it also includes the first 2 battle passes, season 1 and season 2. Is that something you would scoff at, or you would jump on, or how would you feel about that?
I pretty much, it comes to me, it comes down to consumer choices. Always vote with your wallet. To me, I would wait personally on Halo, even if it is one of my favorite series. Like something like Forza is, like, I knew I was going to buy that DLC anyway. I don't really see the DLC going on sale that often unless it's getting to the point of delisting.
Yep.
Which has always been the case. Like, you get to the 5-year mark and that's when it starts getting down in price. I'm not going to wait that long. But I'm interested too to think of, like, EA's been doing the exact same thing, haven't they?
Yeah, I think you can you get early access via EA Play Ultimate, I want to say.
Yeah. So how murky is it going to be to have EA Play in Game Pass and then have situations like that arise with them?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like, I think that there are so many different, like, I suppose, the matrix of how do I know what I'm getting based on what I'm paying for is just getting more and more complicated. And Luke earlier says he's been writing an opinion on the way the industry has been screwing folks over with all their additions. Ubisoft are the worst. As a former Ubisoft employee, I won't comment too much, but I will say that I hate additions like that. I hate, like, that there are so many in our industry now, and it's just like particularly when they're just, and they only do it, they bundle it together, so you save like $10 at the very minimum. Luke, we'll take the conversation offline about Far Cry 6 and the different editions there, because I have a lot to say, but I won't do it here. So I'm just gonna be interested to see the audience reception to this. I think it's gonna pay, like, because Forza Horizon is so popular. I can see so many people just jumping on the premium bundle, and maybe inadvertently setting a bad precedent for themselves, like signaling to Xbox and Microsoft, this is okay, we like this. And I'm not saying that there's necessarily anything wrong with this. I just want to see them be very clear in their communication, particularly around day one Game Pass, pardon me. Because I think it can just get so confusing and so murky. What I will say though, like, I think the silver lining to all this is that it forces the review embargo for first-party Xbox games to lift at least 5 days before day one, so to speak. So I think that's a silver lining.
It's funny because it goes to that model in like all new tech where you've got the early adopters basically giving the reviews for everybody else. It matches more of that system having this in place. So it's not all negatives, because essentially somebody's going to be the guinea pig.
Yeah.
And then if everybody has the, like, we already know this is tracking at 9s, 10s, 5s. Like, it's, like, personally to me, it's game of the year. But I am heavily biased on the series, I will admit.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Like, if, God forbid, say Halo Infinite has this kind of same model and then reviewed at like a 5 out of 10, like, people are gonna question it. But then I guess the other argument too is like Game Pass. Are we really that concerned with reviews anymore?
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I'm gonna have to wait and see. Like, it's gonna be interesting to see how it affects first-party launches going forward. Other than Halo, we don't have many in the near future, so it might be a while before we see this practice tested again. So we're gonna have to wait and see. Thanks for jumping in, Cameron. Appreciate it, mate. I want to shout out Hall of Gamers Pod in chat as well. So go and check out Cameron and all the awesome stuff. Oh, hang on. Why haven't? Actually, no, I've done it wrong. Shout out. Sorry. Here I am, just typing exclamation mark Hall of Gamers Pod, and it's not working. I'm like, what's going on? There we go. Awesome, man. You guys are on. Oh, did you say it's Sunday now?
No, so 1 week is Friday nights, and the other week is Saturday mornings, Australian Eastern Standard Daily, whatever.
That's right.
AEDT, AEST. Pretty much so we can get some of our American guests on.
Yeah, nice. Awesome, man. Thanks for chiming in.
We'll be on tomorrow talking about Forza.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Now go get more of those achievements before the show. See you, mate. Awesome. I do want to get to a couple of good points in chat as well. Thanks, guys, for sharing your thoughts as well. I saw one from Luke. You say I have a mate who manages an EB Games, and they have had to turn people away with some early access when it's for pre-orders only. Interesting. Xbox Gamer Dad Matt, how are you, mate? Thanks for joining. Matt Neo, you said I disagree with the practice, so I feel like I can't support it, even if it's a game I'm really interested in. Yep, dude, that's what Cameron just mentioned, right? Vote with your wallet. Totally in support of that. Would love to listen to the conversation if you guys want to talk about it on your show as well. Keen to get your full thoughts on it as well, Matt. Luke, 6 different editions for Far Cry. Let's talk about that a bit later. Awesome. Alrighty, well, I feel like we could stick. It's been half hour and I've only touched 1 of 10 stories. So we're going to move on. I don't think there was much else I wanted to say about Forza. I did want to talk about iteration and the fact that I have seen comments, people saying this is a 10 out of 10, this is a masterpiece. Like, okay, how can that be the case when it's like so similar to what has come before? And I think there is, I understand where that comes from. It's just like, how can a game like this blow you away when Forza Horizon 4 was like a 9 out of 10 and doing a lot of what this is doing, just in a different setting. I think to the point brought up in a lot of the reviews, like, it is just, it's specifically Luke Riley's on IGN as well, like, it is just Playground at the peak of their craft, right? Like, they have absolutely nailed what it means to be an open world racer in 2021. And I think that's also part of it as well, like, in 2021. My brother, who's, he was playing Forza Horizon 4 just religiously up until yesterday, and now he's on Forza Horizon 5. And as someone who's just a casual fan, he turned to me and said, he goes, Shane, the audio of these cars is so much better than what I've just been playing in Forza Horizon 4. The controls feel tighter. He's noting the lighting is like, how is it looking better than Forza Horizon 4? So I think that it's, I don't know, it really, at least to me, it really feels as though they've just polished this to the nth degree. And I think a lot of it comes down to a 3-year dev cycle, right? We know that before this, Turn 10 and Playground Games alternate between Motorsport Horizon every 2 years. And this is the first time they got 3 years. The Motorsport team at Turn 10, they're for 5 years since launch by the time that we get to 2022 next year. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Ben joins us. How's it going, my friend? Loving the office jargon. Shane, stick opinion on this topic, take it offline and close the loop. Yeah, nice. Matt, you're saying, I mean, I jokingly get reductive when I say this, just more cars driving around, but I understand the thought process. Yeah. Cameron, also forgot that there is no physical premium edition for Forza this year, just FYI. It's a download code. Okay. I know Robbie was quite frustrated over it. Interesting. Okay, so again, it's just leaning into getting that digital revenue and not sharing anything with the retailers. Luke, yeah, there was no retail for it, or at least I couldn't get any listings for my bargain guide. Interesting. Okay, so it must be just standard at retail. I wonder if there's like a deluxe edition as well. Anyway, I did want to quickly touch on where to next for Playground. At least in my eyes, really keen to see what they do exclusively on the Series XS generation and of course PC, once they can leave Xbox One behind. I hope they get another 3 years dev cycle at least to build something. And I hope the next one is live service. Like, maybe Forza Horizon fans, would differ in this opinion, but if Turn 10 are going a live service route with Forza Motorsport, that's just a platform that continues to evolve and grow. I think I would like to see Playground try and attempt the same thing. And maybe that would be really difficult if they try and obviously create a massive world even bigger than what they've created here in Mexico for Forza Horizon 6, for instance. And then they're, under pressure to deliver yearly content that like either grows the map or delivers a different country on top of that. Like the file size would just balloon and balloon and balloon. So it's going to be interesting. I think I'm just most looking forward to seeing how they can possibly improve upon what they've achieved here. In my eyes, they're clearly like top 5 developers in the world right now. And I'm so excited to see what they can do with Fable. Again, it's a different team, completely different office space to where the guys are, I think, at Leamington Spa for the main Playground team. But they just really understand what makes their game great. And I'm really hopeful that they understand also what makes a great Fable game, and they're going to bring that to life in a great way as well. Fingers crossed. We probably won't see it for a while, but we'll see. Awesome. I did see Cobra Toddy. Thanks for joining us. Interesting. My local store manager said they sold out of that Ultimate Edition. Oh, interesting. Okay. Ben, you say, I bought the collector's edition of the original World of Warcraft. It gives me a fun cosmetic pet, even in the classic re-release. Oh, wow. That's amazing. It's fun having something special that not too many others do. That's honestly why I keep old Master Chief helmet. Like, that's the only... I'm somewhat of a minimalist now, and I don't like collectible things. I think the past 5 years, I was moving on average every, 6 to 9 months. And I got rid of all my physical media except for save for some of my favorite movies on Blu-ray. And now I get everything digital. Game Pass also just makes that so much easier. But Halo being my favorite franchise, I still love the Halo 3 Legendary Edition. 14 years later, it still looks amazing. It's so classy. I love it. Moving down, Matt, you said, if they go live service, they need to hash out the car licensing issues so we aren't losing content every 6 months. That's a fantastic point. Forza Horizon 3, no longer listed. Forza Horizon 7, same. Forza Motorsport 7, same thing. So, yeah, that's a great point. That might be a yeah, that's going to be something they need to address for sure. Also, Cameron, you're saying also Turn 10 need to learn from Playground. So many issues in motorsport that need fixing. Interesting. And also there is a new helmet coming out. Tempted. Oh, the Master Chief one. Yes. My mate Jason Mira posted that in our messenger thread today. And I was tempted for like half a second. I'm like, I don't need that. I don't need that, Shane. In fact, I'm considering a Halo tattoo. Topic for another time. I'm thinking about it. Either 117 or a plasma sword. So we'll see. Cobra there's no currently Forza Motorsport you can buy content or digital for. Yeah, exactly right. Like Forza Motorsport completely gone. You cannot buy a new or digital copy of Forza Motorsport any edition. Just crazy. So yeah, he's hoping the next one's not too far away. Oh, Matt, you're Minimalist as well. Minimalist Unite. Nearly empty room with bare walls. Oh, is that intentional? I'm not sure. Anyway, this show is going to be 3 hours long if we don't get to the next topic. I quickly wanted to touch on Xbox Game Studios just based off of the very positive reception to Forza Horizon 5. I think it's fair to say that Xbox First Party had a shocking start to this generation. Literally no new releases at the launch of the console, which to this day I think about, it just baffles me. Like if that happened at any other generation, they'd be raked over the coals. Rightfully so. Game Pass carried them through the first 6 months of 2021 with games like MLB and Outriders as well. There were a couple of good indie games also scattered amongst it, but it wasn't until Psychonauts 2, the Sea of Thieves, Pirates of the Caribbean expansion dropped as well, like halfway through the year. Matt, thanks for the follow. That yeah, like they actually really started to get going. So the first like 7-8 months of the Series X and S life cycle was really lacking from a first party perspective. We got some nice upgrades to Gears 5, Forza Horizon 4, Ori runs at 4K 120, which is amazing. But yeah, there was nothing there. Whereas on the PlayStation 5 side, you had Miles Morales, Demon's Souls, Sackboy, Returnal, Ratchet and Clank, MLB, of course. So they were really knocking it out of the park. And Xbox have finally launched a couple of salvos, right? I said, we had Sea of Thieves expansion, Psychonauts 2, looking like a game of the year contender potentially as well. That game reviewed really well. Age of Empires 4 doing pretty good. I think it's sitting at about an 80 on Metacritic, so it's mostly positive for that game. Forza Horizon 5, at least last I checked, the highest rated new release game of 2021, tied with Psychonauts 2. So yeah, like they're Xbox late to the party, but they're doing really well. And if Halo really delivers, and all signs pointing to at least the multiplayer being very strong, the campaign overview we got recently, which I'll start playing in the background just so you guys have something to look at other than my ugly mug, looking relatively promising as well, right? I think there's still reason to be concerned for this one, but I mean, just the last 6 months, it might be the strongest 6 months in Xbox history. If I'm being honest, like there hasn't been that like condensed releases like that in a very, very long time. I'm thinking back to 2015 when we had, I think it was Forza Motorsport 6 at the time, Halo 5 Guardians, Rare Replay, Gears Ultimate Edition, Rise of the Tomb Raider was an exclusive in that window. 2016 we had Forza Horizon 3 and Gears 4. Yeah, so I just think like they're firing on all cylinders at the moment, and to me it's at least really, really impressive. So I really think that like if Halo nails it, then I think the narrative of where are the quality games from Xbox goes away, at least in my mind. I think there are still question marks on can they deliver on some of these games that are exciting in name, like Perfect Dark, Fable, Avowed. Obviously, will Bethesda nail it with Starfield and Redfall, for instance? It's also looking like the early 2022 for Xbox is looking a bit empty. We don't have a lot of clarity. We know that we have Stalker 2, which is not first party, but will be day one in Game Pass in April. I think that'll fill kind of like that AAA hardcore gap that Microsoft might have. Crossfire X was meant to launch this year, and back in like September, they said that it would, but it's now approaching mid-November, and we have no word on when that's coming. It has to be 2022. So maybe that arrives early, and that's good. Like, single player campaign being done by Remedy, the guys who did Control and Quantum Break and Alan Wake. that could be great. And Grounded, looking to get a 1.0 release in early 2022 as well. My friend Kim loves that game, and she's been really enjoying it. So he's hoping that really kicks into gear also. So at least for me, I'm looking at all these releases and the relatively promising games coming up, and I'm thinking this might be the turning point that we've obviously been looking for. The seeds were planted in 2018 with all these acquisitions. And now here we are at the end of 2021 and going into 2022 with some fantastic games. And also, Deathloop, again, PlayStation 5 and PC, but made now by a studio owned by Microsoft. Like, that's really, really exciting for their future first-party output. So I'm really hopeful for the future, and really impressed with how much they've been able to nail it. Like, I look at things like Psychonauts 2. That game took a really long time to come out, and Tim Schafer's been very vocal about the extra time they were afforded, and the resources they were afforded to keep all the content that they wanted to in Psychonauts 2. I think there were a lot of boss battles that they were considering cutting, were they to obviously run out of funds, but obviously then Microsoft comes along and helps them along. Similar thing for Wasteland 3 last year. In Exile, we were able to do full voiceover for the game, something they weren't considering until they were acquired by Xbox. So I have to give them kudos, because a few years ago it wasn't looking terribly. Let's say it was looking very bleak. That outlook. I do want to get to chat. There were a lot of people chiming in. Cameron saying IGN's 310s are all Xbox first party titles for this year. What? So hang on. So they got Forza. What else did they give a 10 to? Deathloop? Oh, they gave it 10 to Deathloop. What else did they give it to? Flight Sim? Did Psychonauts 2 get a 10 at IGN? I did not know that. There you go. Matt saying you agree for like another half-step console. Yeah, like at the start at the launch, definitely. Cameron, you're saying also by mistake this year has reflected Microsoft classic titles perfectly. Yeah, I think we chatted about that on last week's episode, right? Like the fact that here we are at the 20th anniversary of Xbox, and we have Halo's 20th anniversary being celebrated with Infinite's launch. Age of Empires coming back in a big way, obviously a long-running Microsoft franchise. Flight Sim arriving on console, which is their longest-running gaming franchise. And then also Psychonauts 2, obviously the original was a original Xbox exclusive back in 2005, I think. So, that part of it's really exciting. Also, Luke is saying now Double Fine can make those Excel games. I still remember that joke on the E3 stage as well, Luke. It was really good. Tim Schafer's the best. Double check Psychonauts 2. I don't think it got a 10 from IGN. Matt saying, love you some Double Fine. Okay, I was an 8. Okay, cool. Forgetting the third game. Yeah, I don't think... Flight Sim, I think just got a 10 again. They gave it a 10 last year on PC. And they gave a 10 to the console version as well. Oh my god, we're spending way too much time on this first topic. I need to move on. Let's see here. What have we got? That's right. I wanted to take a look at... So there have been like a lot of rumors recently that I've been keeping an eye on, and like I check them out. I'm like, oh, that sounds really exciting. But I haven't spoken about it, and I think I want to tie this into what we mentioned earlier, even about acquisitions. So let me link this one in chat. Actually, it's a great Windows Central article, probably by Jez Corden. Yeah, by Jez Corden. Basically, just recapping what we know of. Of Xbox's first party lineup currently, and everything that's rumored as well. I'll bring it up on screen so you all can check it out. We'll dive down into the details here, but the quick TLDR, quick list as they have it here. Obviously a lot that's announced and public knowledge, like Halo Infinite and Hellblade 2. Obsidian's got Grounded, Avowed, Outer Worlds 2. But I'll scroll down now, and we'll just touch on briefly some of the ones that aren't quite as known, but are still really exciting. This one, Compulsion Games. This one I'm really intrigued by. So this is the very small Montreal-based studio that worked on Contrast, which I think was a PlayStation indie title, and then We Happy Few, which obviously Xbox pushed a lot on their E3 stage a few years ago. Did turn out fantastically. I think it was a roguelike and it had Bioshock vibes. I never checked it out. But they're said to be working on a third-person action game with a dark fantasy aesthetic. So that's exciting. I feel like Xbox has first-person games nailed down, particularly with Bethesda on board now as well. I would like to see a bit more variety in that sense. So I think the fact that Compulsion is looking to do this. I think this was confirmed by one of their developers as well on a podcast. So that's really exciting. Don't know when we'll hear or see that. I suspect 2023 at the earliest. Double Fine. I know Tim Schafer, or just as Psychonauts 2 was shipping, saying that he wants to do something a bit smaller. Obviously, Psychonauts 2 was a massive project for them. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do next. They're easily like one of my favorite Xbox studios. Like, you never know what they're going to make. I love that about them. I love that just going to, like Supergiant, right? You know, they go from Bastion to like an isometric action game to Transistor, which is like turn-based tactics, to Pyre, which was like a strategic sports game, and then Hades, which is a roguelike. They just jump around. Same with Clay Entertainment. They're fantastic at that as well. So yeah, keen to see what Double Fine does next. In Exile, this is exciting. This is the Wasteland guys. Obviously, Brian Fargo, father of Fallout. They're all wrapped up on Wasteland 3 essentially, and they've already confirmed that I think via job listings, that they're working on a first-person. Here we go. We understand this to be a Victorian era styled steampunk adventure with industrial revolution, inspired sci-fi tech and a branching narrative. And apparently this is first person RPG on Unreal Engine 5. All of that is so exciting. Like Victorian era styled steampunk adventure, industrial revolution inspired sci-fi tech. Yes to all of that. I find that so exciting. I'm missing out on chat here. Here we go. Cobra Disco Elysium, the final cut got a 10. Oh, right, so that was the other 10 from IGN. Nice. Mojang, I'd be interested to see if they do another Minecraft spin-off. Dungeons seems to be doing pretty well, so that'd be pretty exciting. Obviously Hellblade 2 and Project Mara from Ninja Theory. Obsidian. So this was really weird. I remember, I think Jez Corder mentioned on his podcast not long ago that Obsidian have ambitions to release 7 games in the next 7 years, which sounds absurd. Luke, you're saying the last game that had all of that was Order 1886, and we all know how that turned out. Yeah, honestly, like Order 1886 had everything right except it was not fun at all. Like, it was so boring. I remember putting out there just navigating through corridors on the streets of London. I was like, is this all you have? Like, it was literally a tech demo. Like a very beautiful, very well acted, stunning, like visually interesting tech demo. I really wish they gave that franchise a second shot. I wish it's Ready at Dawn, right? I think they've been bought by Facebook now. Yeah, I wish they got to make a sequel, because that could have been something special. Anyway, sidetrack. Obsidian, 7 games in 7 years. It sounds absurd, but when you think about, okay, Grounded 1.0 could be their 2022 release. It seems like Avowed is going to be 2023. That's being rumored to be shown as soon as this month, maybe even at the Game Awards. Outer Worlds 2 is probably 2024. Josh Sawyer is apparently one of their other creative directors, is working on a smaller game. Here we go. Additionally, Obsidian veteran Josh Sawyer is building a game with a smaller team of developers. Not a lot is known about this title at the moment, but it's described internally as an indie darling. So maybe that arrives as well. They seem to be really staffing up for this one, so just Obsidian in general. So very ambitious stuff coming from Obsidian. I love what they did. I really enjoyed the Outer Worlds. I like that it was a more contained CRPG experience. I don't have the time for a Fallout, Witcher size, Elder Scrolls 100-hour RPG. I can't do it. I much prefer like Mass Effect 1 size 20-hour story, right? Or 15 hours for Outer Worlds as well. So Matt, go play Outer Worlds. So good. Cameron, you're saying I really want to see what Moon Studios gets up to next. Me too, my friend. Me too. Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. If anyone wants to jump in and talk about Xbox first party and what we're most excited for, just jump into Discord as well. Join the waiting room, and we can talk about that if you like. Playground games, obviously Fable, Rare. Who knows what's going on with Everwild? I hope they have another project in the works, so I just want to see something new from them. Coalition Gears 6, and obviously they said they're working on another IP as well. There were rumors about Disney, but I'll believe it when I see it. Perfect Dark, Forza, Stab Decay 3, World's Edge. Be keen to see what they do next after Age 4. Now that that's out, Age will probably have a long tail, but we'll see what happens. I won't cover Bethesda. I really want to get to Xbox Game Studios publishing, and we'll see how that goes. So they have a lot of really exciting announced things, like Contraband, As Dusk Falls from Interior Night. That looks like a really interesting, mostly story-driven game. Am I missing something? I feel like I'm missing some other things. Oh, Crossfire X, of course. But here we go. Here are the interesting rumored ones that kept popping up really recently. Obviously, we had, pardon me, an online RPG codenamed Project Dragon from IO Interactive. This is a new studio separate from the Hitman team, so that's really exciting. Though it sounds like that's really far out. This is the really, like, these next three are very, very exciting games to me, because they're all very different and they don't sound like anything we've experienced before. Well, maybe, we'll see. We also know about a project possibly codenamed Shaolin from Brass Line Entertainment, which is an action RPG style game featuring the hip-hop group Wu-Tang Clan. Now, it's said that this is an action RPG style game with like a wacky art style, and the vibe and the theme is informed by the soundtrack, which is being collaborated on with the Wu-Tang Clan. Like, name another game like that. I'm so curious to see if this is actually a real thing. I trust Jez Corden's reporting. He says he only reports on stuff when he's seen documents. So if that's true, I can't wait to see it. We've heard Microsoft is working with Mainframe on a cloud-first multiplayer game for Xbox called PAX Day, while also building a 4X strategy game with Oxide, codenamed Indus. So that's interesting. I'm not a huge fan of 4X strategy games, but it'll be on Game Pass. I'll try it. Finally, we've also seen this. This is so exciting to me. Finally, we've also seen Project Belfry, which is a side-scrolling brawler from the developers of the Banner Saga Stoic Studio. I love the Banner Saga. It is an underappreciated series, and Stoic are incredibly talented. Side-scrolling brawler, speaking my language, I love Streets of Rage 4 and all the other Streets of Rage games, really. So the fact that we could get a side-scrolling brawler from that studio in particular, amazing. In fact, let me bring up just while we talk about other things, Banner Saga trailer or gameplay, and you guys can just see what's going on with this game, and just like the beautiful art style. Here we go. We just got a launch trailer. It's absolutely stunning. Like, if you haven't played the Banner Saga, go check it out. This is all animation from cutscenes and whatnot, but just wait till you see in game. It's absolutely glorious. Anyway, so the point I want to get to, particularly about these Xbox Game Studios publishing deals, is the fact that if Xbox don't acquire another studio ever, I'm happy, right? Like, they've got 23 studios right now. They're all going to be pumping out content. Plus, we've got, like, potentially... So we had Crossfire X. What else did I say? I'm going to have to go back to the article. Crossfire X, As Dusk Falls, Belfry, Oxide, Kojima's rumored game, and then also the Shaolin. Like, there's 6 Xbox Game Studios publishing titles that, if they all arrive in the next 4 years, like, that's stacked. That is so stacked. I want to see Xbox work with all types of studios, right, and deliver a variety of games and throw them into Game Pass. That's all I want. And like, Game Studios publishing is the wildcard that can partner with these really unique teams. Is everyone seeing this gameplay, this animation style, and this art style? It's absolutely stunning. Anyway, sorry, I've missed out on chat. Luke, you're waiting for Nintendo financials. I'll jump to that next because I'm probably gonna have to cut off like a lot of topics we'll be able to get to. Oh, they were discussing console for Age of Empires. True, yes, they want to figure out how to bring that to console. That's correct. Luke, you're saying a nice AoE Stories 2 and 3 definitive were worked on by Tantalus here in Melbourne. Yes, that's right, Australian studio. Matt, you're excited for the gunk, so am I. I think that's December, right? Or did that get pushed back? Luke, you're saying Xbox Game Studios publishing is like EA Originals. Big studios helping little guys, always a welcome thing. Yeah, I agree, right? Like, I think that's what Interior Night, that partnership's all about, right? Same thing you could say with Moon Studios. Cobra Toddy, geez, don't cut topics, just keep talking. Aw, that's really nice of you. I think I'm gonna need to lubricate the mouth. Getting dry mouth. If anyone wants to join me in Discord, so I can stop talking, please do. Anyway, that's kind of just what I want to get to Xbox Game Studios publishing in particular. I'm really excited by what they're able to bring to the table. I think a lot of people forget them as well, right? Like, you think about the Coalition, Playground, Ninja Theory, Bethesda Studios, and you start to think about, you know, what that means. Ben, you're saying I joined, but don't know a thing about what you're talking about. Oh, well, I'm glad you're here. Yeah, so I'm so excited by everything that's being reported on, particularly by the guys at Windows Central, which has Gordon in the team. So just wanted to cover that off because I know I hadn't been talking about it on any of the other shows. So, all right, let's move on to a different topic. Let's see what is next. Let's jump ahead to Nintendo financials for Luke's sake. Luke is saying Thunderful, parent company, have a showcase event on November 11th, so expect to learn more about the gunk then. Fantastic. Oh, it's being hosted by Mark Hamill. Nice. I need to look into Thunderful more because they published Spiritfarer, which was on Game Pass. I love that game. But I'm not familiar with what studios are under their umbrella. Are they're owned by Embracer Group, is that right, Luke? I think that's right. Matt, you're saying, at the end of the day, I just want more cool stuff in Game Pass. Yeah, no matter who makes it. 100%. Cameron, all I want is Nintendo 64 games that play like real Nintendo 64 games. Also, their CM is awesome. I like community manager for Thunderful. Is that who you mean? All right, let's get to Nintendo financials. Where are they? Oh, crap, I didn't have the story open already. Let me go to... Sorry guys, let me just find an article on it. You know, I'll just Google it. Nintendo financials. Financial report, here we go. Most recent. Oh, look at that, press starts popped up first, here we go. All right, let's just read this together because I think there's a lot of interesting stuff in there. Luke, you're saying Thunderful is the company that Image and Form and Zoink, they bought Rising Stars Games, and no Embracer is not connected to them. Oh, okay, maybe I'm thinking a different small publisher. Interesting. All right, here we go. Nintendo has sold nearly 93 million Switch consoles, but we may see stock shortages this Christmas. It's by Kieran Verbruge. I never know how to pronounce Kieran's surname. Did I pronounce that right, Luke? Do you know? Kieran Verbruge? I'm just going to say that. Nintendo has released its latest earnings report, thanks to Komatsu, highlighting their hardware and software sales for the previous financial quarter. Notably, the Switch console has sold a total of 92.87 million units of Switch hardware worldwide since release, approaching the Wii, which sold over 101 million units in its lifetime. Oh, Luke, you're in the waiting room. Come on in, my friend. Are you there, sir?
Yes, I'm here.
Woo! How are you?
Yes, I'm good.
Good? Busy with coverage and whatnot?
Yes. Very, very busy.
Nice. Alrighty, let's get to the topic that you care most about, these Nintendo financials. I'm going to keep reading from this article, and then we can jump back and talk about whatever we want. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has also reached a sales milestone, selling 38.74 million units and crowning it the best-selling entry in the series above Mario Kart Wii. You can see the top 10 lifetime sales for Nintendo Switch hardware below. Mario Kart, Animal Crossing, Super Smash. I won't read all of them. It's a lot of units for their first-party games. No surprises there. Looking to the future, though, Nintendo has confirmed that it's cutting its annual console shipment forecast from 25.5 million units to 24. Huge loss, citing pandemic-related impacts such as global semiconductor shortages. No surprises there either. I think it's just a quote about COVID. Luke, almost 93 million units sold of Switch hardware. Is this going to be... Where do you think this ends up? Do you think they're on track to outpace like PS4, for instance, 116 million? I think they're clearly going to surpass the Wii at 101.
Yeah, so the Wii is 101.63 million, Switch is at 92.87. So there's less than 10 million between them now. Historically, in the December quarter, so October 1st to December 31st, they've done 11, 10 to 12 million consoles.
Right.
I have my massive sheet of all the numbers from the past few years up on my screen.
Do you have the Vuk story? Because I'll bring that up if you've got the link there. Just pop it in Discord.
I do have it. Give me 1 second.
That's all right.
So they generally do 10 to 12 million consoles every sort of December quarter.
Right.
Because it is the holiday period.
Yeah.
Obviously this year may be a little different because they are having some issues getting stock with regards to all the the shortages and the shipping and all that. Interestingly, they did comment that OLED shipping, so the number of OLED models they've shipped is actually exceeding their sort of target.
Right.
Unfortunately, we don't know what that breakdown is. So
the difference between OLED to light to
no. So we know. So Switch sold 3.83 million consoles in the previous quarter, and 730,000 of those were lights. So we actually know that breakdown, but we don't know the OLED breakdown off the regular Switch.
Okay, yeah, I understand. Yeah, cool. I'm seeing it here at the top of the story now. Okay, cool. So yeah, I think, again, maybe it doesn't happen this next quarter exactly, but to your point, they sell out essentially every Christmas. And if they can get stock on the shelves, they'll probably comfortably pass the Wii. I've long posited that wherever Switch lands in terms of lifetime sales at this point will all just depend on when Nintendo decides to hit the go button on its successor, right? Like the next generation of Switch. Is that going to be early 2023, 6 years after the Switch launch in 2017? Could it be sooner? Could it be holiday 2022? I don't know. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Like, when do you think we might start to see them, either communicate the new Switch or actually release like the next? We assume it's just the next generation Switch. It's worked out so well for them. I think they'd be stupid.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because today they put out the official title is the second quarter financial results and corporate management policy briefing for fiscal year ending March 2022. It is the most corporate name for a report ever. But
it's like how they named their Nintendo Switch OLED model.
Essentially, it must be a Japanese thing because Square Enix can't name anything either. But they did come out and say that the success of Switch has given them an estimated extra $900 million that they're going to throw into game development for Switch. So that alone makes me think they're not content to give up on Switch as it is now. Whether or not we get a Switch Pro next Christmas, or Switch 2, after that, it's hard to say because they're doing really, really well. The cost of their components isn't high because they're using technology that is quite old. Honestly, I think it's going to come down to a lot of the game makers. Like, obviously, we've seen Bethesda support Switch with ports of Doom and Doom Eternal and Skyrim and all that. And we've seen Blizzard do Overwatch and Diablo. But once those companies are all on to next gen only in PC, I can't see them making specific versions for the Switch. If the numbers for sales weren't there, why would they dedicate doing stuff for old hardware at that point? So I think it's going to be a lot of that discussion about they want to support it, but they need more power to make things worth their effort.
So one method they're using to get around that is obviously cloud versions of a lot of third-party games, right? Like I think, is it Dying Light that's getting a Switch version? That's
Dying Light 1 is
Dying
out.
Light 1.
It's coming out next week on physical here. It's not out digitally because of a ratings thing in Germany. But Dying Light 2 will launch day and date with the other console versions, but it is only via the cloud. Same with Guardians of the Galaxy. It released in the US and Europe and that on the same day as the other consoles, but it's cloud only.
Yeah, Matt in chat says, like the recent Kingdom Hearts ports as well. Yeah, camera and control as well. So I'm thinking that if these cloud solutions are working for third-party publishers, and consumers are fine with it as well, then maybe there isn't that that technological flaw that's holding them down, right? That's sort of applying that pressure to release a new model. Maybe the Switch does last an extra 2-3 years or more if the user base is content with cloud solutions for the more taxing experiences. And if it's working for the publishers, then I can't see there being an amazing reason to cut off life support for the Switch because it's working so well, right? Like you don't want to say goodbye to 92. Well, let's be honest, it's not 92 million users because there are people with multiple Switches in households and others who have upgraded along the way. So, but it's a huge install base. We're seeing this right now with PlayStation, right? Like they're hesitant to leave behind PS4. A lot of the games are coming cross gen. So I would love to see the sentiment on the publisher side for the cloud versions of these games. Are they delivering? Are they financially performing well enough to warrant the extra effort to obviously develop a cloud?
The only thing with the cloud games is they're not done directly by the maker. So Guardians of the Galaxy, for example, it is the PC version of the game, and that port, if for lack of a better word, is done by Ubantis, who is the company that does the cloud stuff. Yeah. So they've done Hitman 3, Control, Guardians, Resident Evil in Japan, Resident Evil 7's on Switch via cloud, and Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Both of those hit Switch in Japan. So it's that company that's doing all this stuff. And they're not doing anything in Australia. So they're not bringing it to markets where they're, unsure about the success of cloud-based gaming, even though Xbox just launched cloud gaming here. So, I don't see it being a big thing. I think it's one of those, it's a nice option, but I don't think a lot of publishers are going to just go, well, we'll do that, because otherwise we'd have had FIFA via the cloud on the Switch. Instead of this, 40-year-old legacy re-release.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I'm like, it's a system that's working so well for them that I wonder when will they have the courage to leave it behind and start fresh again. It'll be interesting. And will there be that cross-gen overlap? I think you suspect that there always will be now, given that Xbox and PlayStation embraced it quite a lot as well. So,
I'll give you a couple of little financial nuggets of coolness.
Hit us.
Switch is currently 24.85% of the total amount of Nintendo home consoles ever sold. So the total number of Nintendo home consoles is 373 million. Right? Switch and Wii U make 52% of that number. So Switch is just behind at the moment, but it'll take over eventually. But so just put it in perspective. Out of all the home consoles Nintendo have ever sold, the Wii and Switch, the Wii and Switch make up more than half of all that. And I have a little thing that I work it out. So Mario Kart 8 is the best-selling game on Switch. It dominates. It's one of the highest-selling games now of all time. The only game from Nintendo that beats it is Wii Sports, and that's because it was packed in with the consoles.
Yeah. The attach rate on Mario Kart is just ridiculous.
But Mario Kart 8 Deluxe released on the 28th of April 2017. It's about 2 months after the console launched. With its 38.74 million copies, up until the September 30, it has averaged selling 17 copies per minute.
I remember we were speaking about this the last financial report. I think it was like a copy every 4 seconds or something stupid.
Yeah, Animal Crossing's numbers, especially that first 10 days, was just insane. But so they added 1.6 million copies to their total in the last quarter, and nothing else came close. The next biggest one in terms of ad was Mario Brothers U Deluxe. They added 1 million copies.
Yeah.
Everything else is under 1 million, but that added over 1.5. Just on the power of Mario Kart.
Yeah, it's nuts. Matt in chat now. Imagine if they had achievements. Matt would jump ship.
We a bunch of us in the Vooks Discord, we keep saying we want more Mario Kart. We want like Mario Kart Ultimate, like Smash Brothers Ultimate treatment, but for Mario Kart.
Yeah, where's the 60 strong roster, right, of Nintendo characters and third party?
I mean, all the tracks from all the games we've had over the years. There's so many of those things. We could have so much fun with it, but they're being very coy on that particular. New Mario Kart, because technically Deluxe is a port of the 2014 release. So we're now at 7 years since we had a new Mario Kart, which is the longest time between releases since the series started.
Yeah.
So
it's
definitely due for a new one.
I do wonder if if we will ever lean into a gas type model for Mario Kart. Obviously, Nintendo are the last publisher to embrace, DLC in the same way that any other publisher has in the past. And we're starting to see that more with obviously the characters being added to Smash Brothers over multiple years, and even Animal Crossing getting new seasons and that sort of thing. But Mario Kart is ripe for season passes. 4 new characters a year, new karts, new tracks. It could be. I feel as well as the game's doing, I also think there's money being left on the table on Nintendo's side when it comes to that sort of thing.
Nintendo have done a lot of experimenting with not DLC specifically, but with monetization in their mobile games, with Mario Kart Tour, with Dragalia Lost.
Right.
Obviously, Pokemon Go is a big one that has a lot of money. Not that they've got a hand in that, but it's one of their key money earners.
For sure.
But obviously they just did the update for Nintendo Switch Online, adding expansion pack, and the numbers came out. There's now over 32 million Nintendo Switch Online members, and that's just single membership. That doesn't count any family memberships. So 32 million people out of their 93 million consoles.
Yeah.
So basically 1 every 3 consoles has a Nintendo Switch Online membership.
Yeah, it's nuts. That's a higher attach than I think PlayStation at this point, right? Like the PS Plus membership, I think, is at 48 million against, a combined PS4 and PS5 install base of 30 million at this point. So, that's pretty. Actually, I think they actually might be a bit better. Math, anyway. Not doing live math on air.
I still chuckle every time I see PlayStation Plus talk their numbers. I don't know if you recall this, when they made PS Plus mandatory for multiplayer at the start of the PS4 generation.
Yeah.
They came out with their first financial thing, and they talked about how the upsell of PlayStation Plus was astronomical because PlayStation 4 offered so much more value for money. It's like, no, guys. No. It's not because of that. It's because you made it a requirement for people to be able to play online.
Exactly. If you want to play Call of Duty now, you have to have PlayStation Plus. No one was using it beforehand. Now they have to.
And they got all the exclusive Call of Duty stuff for so long. So it just makes every time I hear PlayStation Plus numbers, I just think of that comment.
Yeah.
When they tried to make themselves sound so cool.
It is. I will say though, just as a complete side tangent to the Nintendo financials, it is an impressive number. Like it's been remaining steady at that, like inching closer to 50 million for a while now. And that's really impressive. That's the same amount of revenue as Xbox is making on 20 million Game Pass subscribers, right? Like it's on average $5 a month for PlayStation Plus, $5 I should say, and Xbox Game Pass $10-15 depending on what tier you have, but yeah, they're making a lot of money on PlayStation Plus. I think they really need to focus on that as a key strength of theirs, right? Like that is a huge loyalty grab for a lot of people. The
only thing I wish that they would learn from Nintendo for PS Plus and even Xbox Live Gold. I don't know if we have to call it Gold anymore because they don't offer the Silver anymore.
They still call it games with Gold, so
yeah, I think that's just a legacy thing. But Nintendo Switch Online, if you've had your Switch for 4 years but you sign up today, you get all the NES, Super NES, 64, and Mega Drive games, day one.
Right.
Whereas if you sign up today on your PS4 for the first time ever, you only get the PlayStation Plus games that are available this month. You can't go back and add any of the others to the library. Yeah. So I'd like to see them do something, even if it's just their first party lineup. Last of Us 1 remastered, you can add that to your library. Whatever. They've kind of done that on the PS5 with their collection. But I'd like to do a lot more of that with some of the things, and even Xbox. Xbox obviously is a little different because they got Game Pass, but I'd like to see both those companies say, hey, you're a member of our service. Here's some of these games. They're 4 years old, 5 years old now, whatever. But here's these games. You can just grab them whenever you join, no issues. I'd love to see them do that.
Yeah, no, I think leaning into their legacy makes so much sense. They've been doing it with a lot of their remakes as well, right? And they obviously lean into it a lot with hardware, accessories, and giveaways and that sort of thing. I like how they position themselves closely with the likes of Activision when it comes to Crash and Spyro remakes. Like they understand the power of nostalgia, but I agree. I think they should definitely leverage it a lot more. Anyway, mate, this has been fun. Thanks for jumping in and chatting Nintendo financials. You can tell it's I love this time of year. Like I only chose Nintendo. Like there are so many other publishers we could have gone through, but we won't because that could be like a 3-hour show. But thanks for jumping in, Luke. Appreciate it, man.
No, happy to.
Cheers, mate. Alrighty, let's move on to the next story. Actually, I'll get to chat quickly. Ben, you're saying a guy I work with is huge Nintendo fanboy who really is as close to reality as shut up and take my money can get when it comes to whatever Nintendo do. A lot of Nintendo fans are like that. It's, they love whatever they do. And I mean, they're happy. Go for it. Cameron, I'm very interested in games with gold for next month. What better way to showcase 20 years from some strong giveaways for your legacy titles? Actually, that's a great point, yeah. Wait, hang on. So we don't know... Do we know the games are gold for November right now? Or do you mean you're talking about December in this instance? Maybe they're keeping some at their pocket. I really hope that for the Xbox... for December, okay. I really hope for the 20th anniversary that we get some more backing pack games. Like we haven't seen them for so long, them being updated. And I think Jason Ronald had mentioned they were focusing on getting the Xbox One generation of games over to Series X and S. And that they then started working on FPS boost for some of their games, or for any of the games available on Xbox, I should say, not just specifically their Xbox games. But I hope that we haven't heard from an FPS boost update in a while. Maybe we get some for the 20th anniversary. Maybe some original OG Xbox games, some more would be nice. I know there are still some 360 games, pardon me, that a lot of people have been asking for, like Max Payne 3. So fingers crossed that we get some cool surprises from that stream. Blinks, Luke, Blinks, Time Sweeper, where is he? Needs to return. This is a fun, quick one. Let's just quickly touch upon that on this story. Heading on over to Survivor. Battlefield 2042 10-hour trial starts November 12th on Game Pass and EA Play. Pretty sure this was announced at E3, but it didn't get a lot of airtime. Because I remember seeing this. I'm like, did I dream that? Because no one's talking about it. there was obviously speculation that Battlefield would be day one in Game Pass. You know, rumors saying that Xbox was throwing around a lot of money trying to get a lot of day one deals to increase subscriber count. That's not the case. But I will say, as someone who dogmatically was never going to spend 125 Australian dollars on Battlefield 2042 day one, particularly when Halo Infinite free-to-play multiplayer is right around the corner, this is exciting. I will play this. I'll play this now. And if those 10 hours prove very enjoyable, I would be tempted. So just want to quickly touch upon that and make everyone aware in case you hadn't seen that one. So yeah, we'll see. Luke's saying it's not really news, it's a feature they tend to do with all their EA Play games. Yeah, I knew they do it with like EA Play Ultimate, right? But I'm not sure. I think this might have been the first time they did it with oh, they just had EA Play here. Okay. It's not even Game Pass Ultimate. That's interesting. So any tier of Game Pass. Okay. There you go. Awesome. Just a quick one. As someone who was never going to play Battlefield and pay full price, now I know that I will actually be able to play it for a bit at the very least. I'm just wondering which stories we might be able to skip or at least quickly touch upon. I really want to get to the SEGA one, so let's just quickly touch upon the Amy Hennig story, because poor Amy, she's been jumping around studio to studio and just games being cancelled. Now she's working with Marvel in her new outfit, Skydance New Media. New studio headed up by Amy Hennig, the creative director and writer on the first 3 Uncharted games, has announced a partnership with Marvel to create a brand new game based on an unannounced Marvel property. She said on Twitter, after holding our cards close to the vest for so long, we're excited to finally be able to share the news. We're having a blast working with Marvel on our first project. Can't wait until we can share more. Excelsior. Chat, let me know, what Marvel game do you want to see from Amy Hennig, the creative director on the first 3 Uncharted games? I don't care, honestly. I said that, and I realized it could sound as though I'm not interested. I'm very interested, but my point is, whatever Amy has a hand in, I will take notice. So, yeah, whatever it's going to be, I'm really keen. Cameron, Spider-Man, Wolverine, already taken. A new Iron Man, sure, Matt, yeah, that'd be fun. Luke saying Skydance are best known lately for the Mission Impossible movies. Interesting. I do love me some MI. Captain America, I'd totally be down for a Captain America game. Though I've said that Supergiant should make a Captain America game just because I love using the Aegis shield in Hades. Just let them do a Cap game. That'd be fun. Anyway, so it's probably going to be a while until we see this. What I'm most interested in with this project is who's publishing it. Because obviously Marvel's overseeing it in the same way that they're overseeing Spider-Man and Wolverine, developed by Insomniac, published by PlayStation Studios. Is this going to be distributed and published by Marvel themselves? Multi-platform? Cool, if that's the case. But I'm not sure that's happened yet. I'm not sure they've published a game. Obviously, you've got 2K working on the Midnight Suns game from Firaxis. I'm trying to think of other examples of Marvel games recently. I can't remember who published Marvel Ultimate Alliance on the Switch. Maybe someone in chat can let me know. But yeah, if they have a publisher step in, you believe it is being self-published, Luke? Okay, interesting. Okay, I think that's good. Like, it obviously gives Marvel they don't have to, pay a publisher to handle this one. They can just take care of it themselves. And they'd have to be staffing up and adding more people to the team. So, yeah. You're saying the 361 was pretty good. Off of Captain America. Yeah, I remember hearing not too bad things about that. It was Nintendo. Okay. I didn't know that. Nintendo published Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 on the Switch. Fingers crossed it's like Guardians. Right, yeah, I'm hearing good things about Guardians though. Still, I look at that game and it just looks so bloody generic. I probably will wait for Game Pass, honestly. Knowing that Avengers is in Game Pass now, I can't help but shake the idea that Guardians will probably be in there in 12 months' time. So, Game of the Year contender, Cameron. I remember you mentioned this on your show recently. Yeah, I just, man, I don't know. I might watch Skill Up's review He always does a good job of convincing me of games that I'm never interested in, that I actually need to try them. So we'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, so that's really exciting. New Marvel game. Amy Hennig back in action. He's hoping she gets enough support that it actually comes to fruition. Alrighty, cool. Let's talk about this SEGA partnership. I have the press article here, but I feel like there was another one that I had that I wanted to touch on. That's right. We'll just bring up the press start article. There was a Windows Central one that was more of a bit of an op-ed from, I think, Jez again, saying what it means for Sega and Xbox. But we'll just get to the details. Again, story by Kieran over at Press Start. Sega is working with Xbox on a new game project using Microsoft's cloud platform. Sega has announced its plans to partner with Xbox to drive its, quote, super game initiative, utilizing Microsoft's Azure cloud platform technology to realize the development vision it announced earlier in the year. In an official statement, Sega describes the partnership as forming a key component of its mid to short-term strategy, an initiative for developing, new and innovative titles where the key focuses are, quote, global, online, community, and IP utilization. We are very pleased to announce, quote, we are very pleased to announce today that we are considering a strategic alliance with Microsoft to help develop Sega's new Super Game initiative, as well as build a next-generation game development environment. This is the president and COO of Sega, Yukio Sugino. They continue, by considering a strategic partnership with Microsoft, we seek to further advance our game development so that our titles can be enjoyed by fans all over the world. In this regard, we aim to build an alliance that utilizes both Sega's powerful game development capabilities and Microsoft's cutting-edge technology and development environment, end quote. Sarah Bond, the legend over at Microsoft, she added, Sega has played such an iconic role in the gaming industry and has been a tremendous partner over the years. We look forward to working together as they explore new ways to create unique gaming experiences for the future using Microsoft Cloud technologies. Together we will reimagine how games get built, hosted, and operated with a goal of adding more value to players and Sega alike, end quote. So this was interesting. I can't say with great confidence that I could safely predict what this is going to be. I think I put out a tweet when this happened saying that to me it's a perfect alignment in the sense that Sega has the IP, the creative manpower, but not the means to get their games to a wider audience. Whereas Microsoft is the inverse, right? Where they need IP, creative manpower, and they have the means to get their partners' titles to a wider audience via the cloud. So in that sense, it's like a perfect puzzle piece coming together, and it works well for both parties. Win-win, you could say. What this means for Xbox players, I don't know. I'm of two minds. I don't think this means any kind of exclusivity for Sega titles. If anything, I think Sega is seeing the success of games like Yakuza and Game Pass. They're enjoying that relationship with Microsoft, and they see them as a safe partner to work with to get their games to more people. They're seeing the trends of Game Pass subscription services, and yes, that's the point I'm about to get to. Like, yeah, it's Sega and Microsoft, not Xbox. They're seeing the trends of, we want to get our games to where people are going to be, right? And that's going to be cloud and via subscription services. So I think in that sense, they're just continuing down the path that they're already on, holding hands with Microsoft. So it's like this whole Super Game initiative. I'm going to be curious to see what that means. Global online community and IP utilization. It sounds like just buzzwords around the metaverse, that we've been hearing for a long time. So I don't will this be Sega reaching into their back catalog? I think there were there were other quotes from the official statement, or just like another person at Sega saying that they want to lean more into their dormant IP. Whether they're talking about one of the same things here, I'm not sure. But yeah, it is certainly, I think, exciting. I think, again, I think back to my point. Actually, let's get to the point that Luke raises. It's Sega and Microsoft, pardon me, not Xbox. Sega using Azure means they join companies like eBay, Boeing, and Samsung. Yeah, and Sony as well, right? Like PlayStation, well, I think Sony. Anyway, Sony's partnered with Microsoft to use Azure to get their games to more people, or they're using cloud technology to assist in the way that development is changing. So this is probably very similar, right? Where was it? I think it was Sagino. In this regard, we aim to build an alliance that utilizes both Sega's powerful game development capabilities and Microsoft's cutting-edge technology and development environment. So this is very much technological alliance, and that's why I'm like having so much trouble thinking about what could this mean content-wise. I think that if you look at the healthy relationship Sega is enjoying with Microsoft right now, that it would make sense that if their games moving forward are taking advantage of cloud technology, the place that makes most sense for those games to exist is Xbox cloud gaming. Yeah, that's kind of where my mind is at. I think as well, like Football Manager 2022 is going to be on the cloud also, so we're going to have to see how that plays out. Let me get back to the chat because I know that there was a lot going on. Matt's saying Cameron won't stop talking about Guardians, might have to play it. Luke is saying the story is wrong. Yeah, I wish I had another story that I wanted to use, because this wasn't the one. There was a bit more detail in the one I already had, so sorry about that. Matt's saying Dreamcast 2. Luke, they said, quote, a next generation development environment built on Microsoft's Azure cloud platform. Yep. Launching with Shenmue 4. Yeah, one can dream. Cameron, yeah, isn't it Microsoft and Sega working together, not Xbox? Yeah, we just covered that. Similar to Azure servers for Sony. Yeah, that's right. Matt, throw in some NFT and blockchain, you're good to go. I don't want to touch that ball of wax. I don't know anything about that world. And Luke is saying Microsoft upped their dev environment when COVID hit to allow devs to work remotely without needing to take PCs home. Yeah, that's great, right? Like we saw just like this huge rise in the use of Parsec also, particularly during COVID also. So yeah, I think to your point, it's like the announcement was Microsoft and Sega, not Xbox and Sega. So I just think like, okay, if it is really just development, then it's likely not going to have any impact on how we see Sega games turn up on Xbox's ecosystem. But if cloud technology and Azure in particular is being used to deliver these games as well, then xCloud, or Xbox Cloud Gaming as we now should call it, is likely the place where these Sega games are going to arrive. I think the reason why I lean towards that is because of Sarah Bond's quote. We look forward to working together as they explore new ways to create unique game experiences for the future using Microsoft Cloud technologies. Together, we will reimagine how games get built, hosted, and operated with the goal of adding more value to players and Sega alike. So I think it's that value to players that gets me. Maybe I'm reading a bit too much into it, but you're right. That quote is about creating unique game experiences for the future using the cloud technologies. So yeah, we have to wait and see. It's interesting. I think obviously Microsoft wanting to get closer to Japanese publishers in particular. So let's see. Luke, you said it could be the way into the door for some Sega exclusive on Xbox. Yeah, we'll see. Again, if they enjoy the relationship and they're seeing the fruit of their investment in Game Pass, particularly via Yakuza, then perhaps, yeah. Microsoft obviously have a lot of money to throw around. They're trying to get rid of it before inflation hits. So, yeah, I think anything's possible there. Cameron, I think there is definitely a conversation about cloud gaming moving forward, 100%. She could mean about games as a service, something Sega don't really offer right now. Yeah, that's true. I think that also speaks to, you see the tremendous success Capcom is enjoying based on a strategy that they implemented 5 years ago when they said, I clearly remember them saying, we want to invest heavily into our back catalogue. That's when they started bringing things to the table like Monster Hunter in a massive way to a wider range of players. They're seeing the fruits of their investment into PC now coming through as well. Capcom on an absolute roll. Like RE7 completely revitalized that franchise, and so did the remakes as well after the very poor Resident Evil 6 reception. So I think Sega is seeing this, right? They're seeing that, there is more success to be enjoyed outside of what we currently are successful at doing. There is no limit to what can be enjoyed, particularly when you invest in platforms that Western audiences are invested in. So I'm going to be keen to see how Microsoft and Xbox partner with them and what that means on the content side of things for consumers like us. But look, a lot of it's speculation, but that's why these shows are fun. This is why we do them. All right, I promise this is going to be quick, but this is really interesting to me. Okay, so let me just indulge quickly. League of Legends esports remains unprofitable. Okay, it's a report coming from the Washington Post, but GamesIndustry.biz has a story. I think this is really important. You guys know that I used to work Rainbow Six Esports, and League is seen as, alongside Dota, the international, that they're like their LEC, the League of Legends European Championship, is like the creme de la creme of esports, right? CSGO is operated really well by ESL through IEM and ESL One, but Valve has no investment in the space, whereas Riot has a huge amount of investment in League of Legends esports. But I thought this was really interesting because, particularly on the Ubisoft side of things, like they see that as a way to keep players engaged, right? And this is the same thing for Riot. So Needman, who is Riot head of esports, said that, quote, "If I can't make esports a great business for teams and our sponsors, then we're not going to last long. We're very much thinking about how do we make the entire ecosystem profitable." There was, I'm gonna have to go on to the Washington Post. Let me just try and speak more holistically to it, because I don't want to spend too much time on this. But basically they were hoping that, they would be able to break even and then, break a profit shortly into the life cycle of their efforts in the esports space. And obviously League of Legends esports has been around for more than a decade at this point. And they're not quite there. It speaks to, though League of Legends is a huge game, only a very small percentage of the audience is going to follow the esport. And the same can be said for any other title. Overwatch, Siege, Rocket League, I'm just trying to think of others. Dota, like it's always going to be the case that your esports fan base is the most hardcore niche of your entire user base. And that hardcore small percentage is highly engaged and will spend a lot. They are the whales of your community. But esports is a huge undertaking, huge investment. Like, you're talking about millions of dollars for these massive physical productions when it comes to grand finals and world championships played at LAN in huge stadiums with production values where you're paying, you're covering the costs for teams to fly in to be accommodated. Sometimes you're offering them stipends as well. So you as the publisher are paying them to play in your game. Obviously we've seen other, avenues of revenue, I should say, for esports teams to recoup their investment. So, I'll use Rainbow Six as an example just because I'm familiar with it, but there are skins in the game that are themed to a bunch of different teams. And when you buy that, a percentage of that revenue goes straight to the org and a percentage of that revenue goes straight to the players. And that's a great way for... Daily Lord, thanks for joining us, bro. How are you? That's a great way for esports orgs who have the financial means to pay team salary to invest in the scene and then recoup that investment through those in-game items. And it behooves them to promote those in-game items via their own channels, which in turn rewards the publisher as well. It's insane to me that League of Legends, being the huge game that it is, even with, again, that small percentage, that subset of an esports fan base, isn't making money somehow. Like their sponsorship would be massive. They've had huge partnerships with the likes of Louis Vuitton and MasterCard. So many others endemic to the space that I'm forgetting. But it just goes to show that it's a huge outlay for publishers to really put on a great or sustain a great esports scene. And even someone like Riot Games can't make it profitable. So what hope do the rest of us have? Yeah, I found that truly fascinating. Sorry, esports section. I promise I'll never talk about esports again. No, I don't. I promise you I will definitely talk about esports again at some point or another. Okay, let's see what other stories there were. If there are other stories that you guys want me to... Jason, shut up. How are you, Jason? Thanks for joining. If there are any other stories... Okay, here we go. I'm gonna rattle off a couple of stories and you tell me if which you want to talk about. PlayStation has invested a 5% stake in Devolver Digital. What else can we cover off? Square Enix claims Crystal Dynamics was the wrong fit for Marvel's Avengers. Hilarious. Oh my god, the NVIDIA leak. We haven't covered the NVIDIA leak. Okay, we're talking about that. Oh my god. Okay, here we go. This was the first story I found, so apologies, I haven't read this one in advance. But as you know, 2 months ago, I think, there was a massive NVIDIA GeForce leak. So NVIDIA GeForce Now, pardon me. So this is the live streaming service that NVIDIA offers. As a subscription, you can live stream games that you already own to X number of devices. I can't tell you how many there are. There was a huge NVIDIA GeForce Now leak 2 months ago. All these unannounced games. NVIDIA came out and said that the leak is accurate. Or pardon me, the leak is real, but a lot of the games, unannounced games listed on there were speculative. They were just guessing what was coming in the future. Complete bullshit, right? So many games on there that were just like too accurate to be speculative, at least in most people's minds. There's been another leak. Someone at NVIDIA is getting fired. Guaranteed. This is unacceptable in my mind. Publishers are going to be pissed. Interestingly, it reveals more PlayStation games coming to PC. Again, no surprise. I just want to get to the list here, actually. So this is Game Reactor Story. Who wrote this one? Go away, ads. Jonas Mucky. They say in an absolutely massive NVIDIA leak a few months ago, several titles coming to PC were revealed. Many of those leaked titles has been confirmed after that, like Alan Wake Remastered, Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Edition, and Grand Theft Auto The Trilogy Definitive Edition. This does, of course, increase the chances of others being real as well. Now, a new leak has surfaced, and several titles from the first leak has once again been reconfirmed, while others have got release dates. These include Microsoft titles like Gears 6 coming to PC late next year. Okay, we're going to get into release dates because a lot of these are wholly inaccurate. Fable coming late 2023, Elder Scrolls 6 supposedly launching in 2024. But while those were more... Actually, we probably won't speak to the PlayStation PC stuff because their games coming to PC is obvious at this point. Let's go to this new leak. Where is this taking us? Oh, it's just taking us to Twitter. Okay, here we go. Akami Games. We've just gotten NVIDIA GeForce Leak 2.0. Some notable ones here. Let's bring up these images. Hope you guys can see that. Let me just get to the chat quickly. No, you can't cover that one about Devolver. Matt, you want Square Talk? Oh, we might cover it off. We're going pretty late. I'm almost... I think I've been going for almost 2 hours. Jason, thoughts on Elden Ring? Not as creepy. Might actually play this one. 100% in alignment there. I don't like Soulsborne games, typically because they're all wet and gross and disgusting, and I don't want to be in those worlds. Whereas this one is a bit brighter, and even though there are, weird characters with like 12 arms coming out of their backs, it's not as creepy as other From Software games, so I might play it. And also, it's got co-op as well, so that has me tempted. Anyway, here we go. So on the Xbox side of things, Forza Horizon 5, Project Indus from Oxide Games. So this, I think, is the 4X strategy game that we referenced in the earlier Windows Central story. So they've released this for December 1st, 2021. That's totally inaccurate. Redfall for June next year. That could be a thing because they've said summer, American summer 2022. So that ranges between June and August. Forza Motorsport for next year. Around that window, I could totally see that happening. Project Mara and Hellblade 2 releasing on the same day. Unlikely. I don't think we see Hellblade next year. It's way too early. Gear 6, this is way off. Gear 6 isn't happening until, I'd say, 2024. The Coalition has said that don't expect to hear about Gear 6 anytime soon. They're working on a different project, and that's meant to be coming first as they start to migrate all their development resources over to Unreal Engine 5. So expect to see a different game from the Coalition before Gear 6. Starfield, 11th of November next year. We know that's already the case. Contraband... next year. I don't see that happening. We only saw a CGI trailer at E3 this year with no release window. I expect that to be 2023. Relic, new project from Machine Games. There were rumors about a Quake reboot coming from Machine Games and id. Maybe that's something they could work on next year, though. Unlikely. Again, see, look at these release dates. They're a day apart from one another. Avowed and Perfect Dark next year. 100% false. Project Black Sky, new project from Arcane Austin. That could be an accurate project codename, but I don't see it coming January 2nd. Arcane Austin are working on Redfall. I don't see that coming anytime soon. Kestrel, new project from ZeniMax Online Studios. We know that they're working on a new IP, or I think at least new project. I'm not sure if it is a new IP, but look, they have something in the works. Whether it arrives January 4th, 2023, who knows? Fable, holiday 2023. I can see this happening. I think Fable's still a whiles off. I think Avowed probably comes in early 2023, and Fable towards the end would make sense. Project Holland seems to be an older listing for Fable. Okay, not sure what that is. Cobalt from In Exile, we mentioned earlier that they're working on an Unreal Engine 5 first-person RPG with like the Victorian era steampunk elements. So that could be the name. Indiana Jones in 2024, I could see that. Elder Scrolls in 2024, maybe. I reckon it could even come later. And Everwild seems to be in trouble. I think you see that 2024 at the earliest as well. PlayStation, here we go. Okay, so this is PC, importantly, as well, right? They're saying Legacy of Thieves Collection, February next year. I don't think it was confirmed that early. Anyway, we'll have to wait and see. Ghost of Tsushima in February next year. Again, because these are a day apart, that's not going to happen. So how accurate either of these are, I'm not sure. But we know that PlayStation are going to bring more games to PC, right? Like they have the PlayStation PC brand now. They have Nixes, the studio they've just acquired to help port the games to PC. It shouldn't be a surprise that any of these games come to PC, except for one particular title potentially coming a lot sooner than most people would expect. We'll get to that in a sec. Death Stranding, that's already on PC, right? But maybe it's just going to be available for NVIDIA GeForce now at that time. Returnal, that would be a year after launch. I could see that. Sackboy, more than a year after, that's fine. Helldivers 2, I don't think it's even been announced yet. So who knows if that's real. Maybe we see it at a new PlayStation showcase soon, or maybe Game Awards. This is the interesting one. Horizon Forbidden West, September 30th, 2022. So that Horizon Forbidden West is launching February 18, I want to say. There are a few games like clustered up together in that February, mid to late February window. It's like Forbidden West on the 18th, and then like Sifu on the 22nd, or the other way around, and then Elden Ring's on the 25th. It's very crowded in February. Regardless, this would be 7 months, a PC port 7 months after PS4 and 5 launch. That's very soon after launch. I think that would be very telling about PlayStation's PC port strategy moving forward, if that's going to be the case. I would have guessed that Forbidden West comes to PC at least 12 months after the console release, maybe even 18 or 24 months after. Zero Dawn launched on PC more than 3 years after PS4 launch. So yeah, 7 months. I don't see it happening. I would like to see it happen that soon. I would like to see PlayStation get as close to day and date on PC as possible, because I think that's just eventually where they're going to end up. But we're going to have to wait and see. Keep your eyes peeled on this one. I don't think you see any announcement for Horizon Forbidden West PC port before the game is out on PlayStation consoles. It's definitely something they'll talk about after the games have dropped out. So, jumping into chat, Matt, for a single player game with a short tail, I can see it coming within 6 months. That's a good point. Cameron, you're saying, I mean, if Microsoft does day and date, why not 6 months? I think that like the idea of PlayStation doing PC ports in general has been met with great resistance from the PlayStation community, right? And even Matt Booty and Jim Ryan themselves, in quotes, have gone to great lengths to say that don't expect us to prioritize any platform over PlayStation consoles. So I think that's why you're not going to see day and date anytime soon, though I do think it will happen for select titles. before the end of the generation, for sure. But I think 6 months is just a bit too close. Like, we're already starting to see this cadence of God of War coming to PC roughly 3 years later. What else is being ported to PC recently? The Rumours of Sackboy, that's probably going to be 12 months. I think 6 months is just... I think it's too short, too soon, if that makes sense. I think PlayStation will slowly inch their way closer to that 6 to 12 month window of PC ports. Yeah, I think it might take some time. Jason, you're saying anyone else giggle a little whenever you hear Matt Booty? Matt, who's talking about my booty? Matt Booty's the best. Love Matt Booty. And this one's interesting. Ratchet & Clank, October 3rd, 2022. Importantly, it doesn't say Rift Apart. So maybe this is the 2016 sort of game that got rebooted, like the original game remade for PS4. That'd be weird coming like 6 years later, but who knows? Maybe it's meant to say Rift Apart. Awesome. I think that'll do it. Like, again, oh my goodness, NVIDIA, what are you doing? Get your shit together. It's out of control. I think that was it. My voice is dying. I'm talking nonstop for 2 hours. Were there any other topics you guys wanted to talk about? Any stories from the past week that I missed that we wanted to cover off? The Square Enix Crystal Dynamics disappointing Marvel Avengers thing is... I'm not sure there's much really to say around that. I am interested by this PlayStation 5% stake in Devolver Digital. That's interesting. I think they're just trying to seed ground in areas that are going to be safe for them, right? Like, maybe this is them trying to fix their indie problem. That could be something. Obviously, they've had, been under fire this year for a lot of their practices. They're exposed by indie developers. Maybe that's something they're trying to make a concerted effort to fix. Though you would hope that they would do it for all of their indie partners and not just Devolver Digital in this sense. But I guess we'll wait and see. JC say, what are we all playing this weekend? I'm going to play Forza Horizon 5 because I bought the premium bundle and I've got access to it. So I'm going to play that. The weather is looking terrible here on the Central Coast, so be a lot of gaming. I will definitely dive into Age of Empires 4 because I've installed that but haven't played it yet. And I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's what I'll play. Oh yes, I did think about that, Cameron. Overwatch and Diablo 4 being delayed. Yeah, I'm not sure there's much to say there other than they needed to. Like, you can't... They need to go away. They need to go away for a while. Activision Blizzard, they just need to go away, work on their shit, and come back when they're ready to. Jason, you're going to play a Call of Duty Vanguard campaign. Nice. Let us know how it goes. Views aren't terribly hot on it. Though I do want to play just to see my mate Martin Copping, who plays Lucas Riggs, the Australian character in the game. Martin Copping is the voice of Mozzie in Rainbow Six Siege. He's a mate of mine, so I'm keen to see his performance. Got a code from Take-Two. Wait, what'd you get a code from Take-Two for? Deli Lord, yeah, you're downloading Forza tonight, so you can play it tomorrow. Nice. Yeah, and Quick's taking over. Oh no. What's his actual name? I can see his face. I can see him on the E3 stage talking about backwards compatibility. Mikey Barra. Nice. Oh, you got a code. You would have got a code from Acti, Jace, right? Not Take-Two. Call of Duty. Yeah, so Mikey Barra is leading Blizzard now, right? Yeah, it wasn't Take-Two, Jace. Yeah, so I'm tired as well. This has been fun, guys. This has been really good. I like that I could just casually talk through these topics and really engage with you guys in chat. And thanks to Cameron and Luke for joining me in the Discord as well. I'm gonna do that more. I think I'm gonna do that more. I think every now and then I'll do like a solo show like this, and we can just rotate people in and out if you guys want to talk about topics. It also just helps me not have to plan for guests as well. So yeah, that also helps. thanks so much, guys, for joining me. This was really, really fun. Anyway, usually the question box, I have guests on the show, friends from the Australian New Zealand games industry, but this one was a bit different. Catch all the past episodes on YouTube. I likely will cut up this VOD into the different topics and just post them as individual videos. I just want to see how they go on YouTube. Instead of just like a 2-hour VOD of just me rambling, essentially. Matt, always happy to jump on the soapbox. Yeah, man. Yeah, we'll have to get you back in here as well. Even though you just on the show last week as well. Yeah, I do want to line up. So there are some guests that I have in mind to line up. I do want to get the guys from House of Mario on. I haven't messaged Drew or Bryce yet. But I am keen to hear from them, particularly after the Nintendo financials. And also I want to get their thoughts on the Switch OLED. If you're not listening to the House of Mario, go listen to the House of Mario. It is honestly the best Nintendo podcast I've ever heard. Those two are so professional. They know their shit. And the production of the show, the theme song alone just gets me hyped every single time. So yes, House of Mario, go check them out. Actually, you know, let me find their YouTube channel because I think it's iDruby. Here he is. Their stuff is so good. So good. 40 roads to go, Cameron. You're crazy, man. You're crazy. I've like hit 3. Whatever the 2 races are at the start and the road that interconnects them. Anyway, yes, sorry. Question box here every Friday, 8:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time on this channel. Follow me on, or subscribe to me on YouTube, I should say, MagicCast, all one word. Catch all the past episodes there. On YouTube as well, Magic_Cast. Trying also to get some big names on. There are some... Actually, I'm not going to promise anything, but there are people that I follow on Twitter and follow me back that I would only dream to get on the show. So I'm going to reach out to them soon, try and get them on. We're going to have a lot to talk about soon. Next, in 2 weeks' time, it'll be the 20th anniversary for Xbox and Halo. We'll have Pass, so he's hoping we have stuff to talk about there. Halo Infinite in like 4 and a bit weeks as well. So yeah, really exciting stuff. Thanks for that, Jace. Appreciate you dropping those in as well. Alrighty, guys, I'm going to end it there. Let's raid someone. Let's pass on the love. I always forget to do this because I'm so concerned about just wrapping up the show nice and cleanly. Who is online? Morgan's online, my colleague. Let's raid. Queen Morgie. Go show Morgan some love, everyone. Let's just make sure I spell this correctly. Thank you again. This was really fun. Give me your feedback as well. Do you like this format? Do you prefer a tighter show that doesn't ramble on for 2 hours? Let me know on Twitter and in the comments on YouTube. Thanks, guys. Show Morgie some love. Have a great weekend and enjoy Forza if you're playing. Bye.